Hi Liz, thank you very much for joining me today to talk about your fantastic achievements here at UCL in engineering as part of the INWED 2020 celebrations this year. I wondered if we could just start by you giving us a bit of an overview about your area of study.
Oh, hi. I'm called Liz, yes, and I'm studying civil, environmental, and geomatic engineering right now at UCL. I'm in my second year. Well, I describe my course as pretty vast. I would say it covers a lot of different types of engineering, sort of built infrastructure and the environment and working sustainably, getting some good new solutions to problems, and learning from the brilliant lecturers here. So far, I've found this course to be mainly about sort of solving societal problems, doing projects like bridge design and building design. That's a lot of my course, and trying to work in a sustainable and green way.
Great, that sounds really interesting. Who or what inspired you to want to study engineering?
It was my family, really. My dad is an engineer. Most recently, he's been working with Crossrail and some other companies like that. I remember when I was younger, he was working at Heathrow, and I don't know, I was always around it when I was younger, and it seemed like a natural progression to go into something in that sort of field. I do remember having a really brilliant maths teacher, a female maths teacher in a class I was in, and it was mainly boys in the class. There were very few girls, and she made a really big effort to tell us that we should be here and go into this and that we were good. So that was really informative.
What's your favourite part of studying engineering?
In honesty, the favourite part for me is all the people that I've met. Truly, I've met some of the most, intelligent, smart, but very kind people on this course. In terms of the work, I would say my favourite parts are easily the design projects we get to do. Sort of most recently, we've had a look at the Notre Dame roof renovation, and that was a big sort of 2-month project that we did in groups. And it's incredibly interesting, really satisfying to do work that seems very relevant.
What's the most valuable lesson you've learned so far in your studies?
Teamwork is incredibly important in this field, and that half of the battle with teamwork is just being positive and interested and polite and kind to people. That's probably the most important, but then also a huge realization for me is that social time and time that's not spent working is equally important to working, and that you need both to do both well.
Can you describe your day-to-day life as an engineering student?
In terms of normal term time, it's a lot of contact hours. I would usually have, classes every day at least, maybe 2 or 3. But we have tutorials as well. And if I don't have a 9 a.m. lecture, I would probably still come in before 10, hopefully. And there's always a project happening. I'm never without a lab report to do, or some kind of group project happening in the background. So when I don't have classes, I'm usually meeting with people, getting coffee, having group meetings. And it's become a lot more independent in second year too. We have to organize ourselves in our groups to actually get the work done outside of lecture hours.
So obviously things have changed. Your routine has changed, your studies have changed. How has the current COVID-19 situation affected that?
I'm really, honestly, so lucky. I mean, at the moment, I'm staying with my parents at home, and my sister is here. So I'm with my family, and I have a desk, I have my own space. In terms of actual getting work done, I would say at the beginning, it was a bit tough the first few weeks, since we still had group projects going on. So we'd have to FaceTime and Skype from Singapore to, somewhere in China to wherever in the UK. So time zones were a bit tough initially.
And finally, what advice would you give a younger person, or even your younger self, who wanted to go into a STEM field, what advice would you give them?
This field, as far as I know, isn't all academic. It's not strictly traditionally academic. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of room for being creative and being interested in the arts and all this kind of thing. I remember when I was younger, I really thought, you know, my 16-year-old self, having just done GCSE art and loved it, you know, thought, okay, right, I'll have to put that to the side if this is what I'm going to go into. And that's really, really not the case at all. I mean, I've used it a lot on this course, various creative skills. As much as having things like physics and maths really help you, and they truly do, especially on this course, ours is sort of more open at UCL. I mean, I have a couple of people on my course who didn't study physics or maths, and they're some of the best people, honestly.
Great. Well, thank you ever so much for talking to me today, Liz, about your studies. And yeah, thank you
for having me.